Hey everybody, welcome to Texas 2.5. It has been way too long, not only since I made a video, but also since I even did any smoking for myself. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you a brief explanation why I have been so derelict in my barbecuing duties. But today we're going to rectify that. Busted out the LSG 20x42 offset, and we're going to do a pretty awesome cook today. About 45 pounds of meat, 4 different kinds of meat, including 3 different kinds of poultry. It's Thanksgiving week, and we're going to do a feast that even the pilgrims could be proud of. Stick around. It is a beautiful 40-degree fall day here in Minneapolis. We might have a little bit of rain later this afternoon, so I probably won't video as much as I normally do. But I want to feature today a company called TexasFood.com who sent me out an awesome care package of goodies. Let me show you what they sent me. As a thank you to them, I'm going to be featuring several of these rubs today. I'm going to be using exclusively rubs from this company, from this website. And this is just a small sampling of some of the things that they put out. They don't just do barbecue rubs and sauces. They also do some yummy snack foods. They sent me these LoneStar Dinobites, which are a sort of a spicy oyster cracker with some barbecue dust on there. These are delicious. These Texas pralines were awesome, and they were gone weeks ago. Again, I've had this care pack for probably a month and a half, intending to do this video, and just haven't had time. Anyhow, here's some of the awesome rubs that they sent me out. Annie Moo Moo's Maple Spice Rub. Definitely going to be using some of that today. Ranch Fixins Texas Style Steak Dust. I'll be using that on some future steak cooks, I can tell you. That sounds like it would be awesome on a prime rib or a ribeye. Here's the Best in Texas by Sucklebusters, the 1836 barbecue rub. Alright, those are the rubs. Now let's get into these sauces. Truly Texas mesquite barbecue sauce, and I really wanted to try this because when I first started smoking 8 or so years ago, I played around a little bit with mesquite and I didn't really love it as a smoker would. It was too much for me, but I really want to give it a try, and I thought, hey, trying some mesquite in a nice Texas made barbecue sauce might be just the thing to get me liking mesquite. Briggs True Bourbon Bacon Barbecue Sauce. When I saw this on the website, I could not pass that up, and they were gracious enough to send me out a nice big bottle of that. Truly Texas Jalapeno Mustard. Be using that on some brats in a future video for sure. And then finally, let's see if I can get this to focus here. Milliken Pecan Company's Strawberry Jalapeno Pecan Jelly. This sounds awesome. I will likely use that as part of a finishing glaze for some ribs. What got all of this started with this company, TexasFood.com, is a while back I used some of their raspberry habanero jam as part of the finishing glaze on some baby backs that I did in a video several months ago. It was awesome stuff. It was a gift from a friend who has relatives down in Texas. They had gone to visit. They had picked up a bunch of Texas chili spices and barbecue rubs and jams and jellies, and they gave us some of it, and it was delicious. So I reached out to this company, TexasFood.com, that distributes all of these different products, and they were gracious enough to send us out a care package. And so, again, as a thank you today, I'm going to be featuring their rubs on the meat that we're doing, and maybe at the end of the video, who knows, I might bust into one of these barbecue sauces and use some of that as well. You'll certainly see some of these individually used in future videos as part of my cooks, but again, today I'm featuring them, and I'm only using them as a way to say thank you for them sending out these awesome products. But now let's get into the meat. Alright, the meat is on. We're already up to 275. Man, that was a doozy of a job getting all that different meat rubbed up. But I am excited about these rubs. These are really promising. Let me just tell you real quick before I show you the meat. The maple spice rub, they're not kidding. Let's see here. not very many ingredients. Maple sugar, brown sugar, salt, pepper, garlic. Maple sugar is the #1 ingredient, and a lot of sugar in that rub, a nice sweet rub. The steak dust, this is a really nice fine steak dust seasoning with garlic, salt, sugar, black pepper, onion, and silicon dioxide. I do like steak rubs that have a little bit of sugar in them. You might think that's odd, but Cosmos Q also has a nice sort of an SPG type rub that's also really light in color like this. That was the first one I ever used that had sugar in it, and I really liked it. I'll go back to it one day. This one has a really coarse pepper in it, this 1836 Suckle Busters. This is sea salt, black pepper, garlic, onion, paprika, and spices, and that pepper in there is a really coarse grain black pepper. So what we got from right to left here, we got 2 8.5 pound pork butts. For those, I used our maple spice rub as the base layer and our 1836 as the outside layer to give it a little bit of that paprika color that we're used to with barbecue. For the chicken wings and the turkey, I only used the steak dust. It had a nice combo of spices in it, plus that sugar, which I like on the poultry. And then for this home-raised chicken, I did not put anything on that. That's for a buddy. He's never had me smoke a chicken for him before, and I want him to just get the smoked chicken flavor before we start experimenting with rubs for him. And then the dark meat there is duck breast. And for that, I used base layer maple spice rub, and then I finished it off with some steak dust. And what's probably going to happen is I'm probably just going to get some smoke on those for 45 minutes, and then I might, I don't know, we'll see. I might pull them and fry them up in flour, but we'll see. A buddy gave me some duck breast that he hunted. I do want to add, this is the first time I've been really disappointed with the LoneStar. I know your ears are perking up because you don't hear people say that very often. But I genuinely am not pleased. I never tried doing a turkey before, but it just dawned on me today while trying to load this smoker up. Has awesome capacity. The problem is you cannot fit a turkey in this smoker with both shelves in. And I'm really pushing the limits of this bottom shelf. For a moment, I thought I was going to have to break out my Weber and put the wings on the Weber so that I'd have enough room to do everything on just this bottom shelf. I understand why they only have 5.5 inches of clearance between the shelves, but man, it's just like half or 3/4 of an inch short to do a bird, and that's not a big turkey either. That's only about a 13-pounder. So if you're going to be doing turkeys on your LoneStar, you're going to have to buy really small turkeys. You're going to have to take your shelf out. You're going to have your top shelf squeezing down the top of your turkey, which you probably don't want. But it's not a huge complaint, but it is a bummer. I was disappointed when I went to put a turkey on there and it wouldn't fit, and I panicked for a moment, trying to figure out what to do next. But we got it figured out. We got them all on the bottom shelf. Thank goodness for a big bottom shelf. So the capacity is good. I'm not complaining about that. Man, it never occurred to me that I wouldn't be able to pop a whole turkey in there with the shelves in. Anyhow, if you're doing turkey, you're only going to be able to use one shelf. Keep that in mind so you don't put yourself in a pinch. Here's our mostly smoked duck breast that is finishing now in some bacon grease. It smells wonderful, and after throwing those duck breasts into the frying pan, my fingers tasted wonderful. We'll see how it is in a minute. All right, we're about, I think, 2.5 hours in, something like that. The duck came off. It's done. We just had some for lunch. Don't worry, I got a piece to taste for you on video. What I did was I par smoked it, so I didn't finish it. I did bring it inside like I thought I might. Threw some bacon grease in the cast iron skillet. Cut them into slightly smaller pieces so they would cook faster and more evenly in the frying pan, and finish these babies off in bacon grease and dusted them with just a little bit more of that steak dust. That is an awesome rub, by the way. You know, some of you guys collect smokers, various barbecue equipment, sauces. I'm starting to really get into the SPG rubs. I really like um, these basic salt, pepper, garlic rubs with just a little bit, maybe a couple other things in them. I love Malcolm Reed's. I love Cosmo's. Um, his is called Texas Beef, I think. Cosmo's Texas Beef, and then Malcolm Reed's AP rub. But this steak dust from TexasFoods.com, TexasFood.com. It's some awesome stuff. It's very simple. There's nothing fancy or strange about it. It's just your basic salt, pepper, garlic with some sugar in there and some onion, granulated onion. But whatever ratios they're using, it's awesome stuff. And this duck was really good with it. Honestly, all I had for lunch was duck breast and baby carrots with ranch dressing. I ate a lot of duck breast for lunch. So good. That rub is peppery, but it's not overbearing peppery. I don't like rubs that are all pepper. I know that's sacrilege in Texas, but it's fine on beef. But when I'm having poultry and pork, I don't mind some pepper, but I want some. I want to get the garlic and just that little hint of sweet is so good in this. Check it out. You should definitely go try some if you haven't tried it before. It's really good stuff. Hey, this is good duck breast, but we got a whole bunch more meat on the LSG still. Let's go check it out. All right, like a dummy, I got all wrapped up with that duck breast and a project I was doing in my garage, and I forgot about my fire. So my fire's a little low. My temps have dropped down around 200, so I'll have to nurse that back to health. But boy, is everything in here looking good. About an hour ago, I flipped these chicken wings over to their ugly side, and I put some of that bourbon bacon barbecue sauce on. And oh buddy, I tasted my fingers, and that stuff is pretty good. Our pork butts are also looking real nice. That chicken is looking amazing, actually. With no rub on there, that skin turned a beautiful brown color, and it's crisping up nicely. I'll have to start taking temps soon. That turkey is browning up nice as well. Not quite as beautifully as that chicken, though. So, anyhow, I'll bring you back. I'm going to rotate these things, check some temps on the poultry, and make sure everybody's cooking evenly. And I'll bring you back next time it's time for a checkup, probably when we pull these wings. By the way, if you find yourself losing your fire in your offset, don't panic. All I had a couple minutes ago was that little tiny bit of coals down there in the back corner, and that, if you can see right back there, that little tiny piece of log, and none of it was on fire. It looked like it was all gone out. But stir those coals up, prop that, whatever you got in there, if you got a little burnt piece of wood in there, prop it up over the coals. Then I have about a 1/8 split, real small split, that I then TP'd over that old piece in the back. And then over the top of all that, I just put a full cherry split. And that's already all getting going nicely here in only about 3 minutes. So my temps will be back up in no time. You just got to build. You got to engineer it a little bit, make yourself a little teepee so that those coals down there, they have plenty of airflow. You see that? None of those logs are smothering them. There's air pockets. There's plenty of place for oxygen to get in there. And that's how I got those flames back so quickly. Because like I said 3 minutes ago, I had no flame and almost no orange. It all looked black. But I broke that big sooty piece of wood apart. Thankfully, it was all still coals on the inside. And in no time, you can get your fire back if you prop your logs up like that and give them plenty of airflow. While we're waiting on the next update, I want to give 2 quick channel shout outs. First off, I want to give a shout out to T-Roy Cooks. I've mentioned him before. He's one of my top 3 favorite all-time barbecue YouTube channels, which means one of my favorite all-time YouTube channels because barbecue channels is pretty much what I do on YouTube. But T-Roy gave me a really kind shout out a few weeks ago on a video. I noticed one day all of a sudden I started getting a whole bunch of subs and people commenting that T-Roy had sent them over. And sure enough, I watched his latest video and he gave me a real kind shout out, and I appreciate that. T-Roy's been checking out my channel pretty much since the beginning. we now have the 20-inch model LSG in common, and I really enjoy watching his channel, and I've learned a ton from T-Roy, and I like his demeanor. I like his personality. I've watched a lot of different barbecue YouTube channels, and I don't go back to many of them. No offense, nothing personal, but I only have time to watch so many videos, and so I watch the ones that are my favorites, the ones I think are the best, and T-Roy's right up there. I also want to give a small channel shout out. This guy also happened to give me a shout out a few weeks back, but that's not why I'm shouting him out today. I actually subscribed to his channel before he ever gave me a shout out. He's a real small channel, just starting up like me, and I really like the guy. You can tell if you watch him, he knows what he's talking about. A lot of YouTube startup channels, they make fine barbecue. I'm not criticizing them, but you can tell it's their first cook of pork, or it's their first cook of brisket or whatever, and there's a place for that. No, I have no problem with that. But Grumpus on Fire, look that up. Grumpus, Grumpus, Grumpus on Fire. I really like him because even though he's just getting his first fancy dancy offset, you can tell the guy's got a lot of smoking experience and knows what he's talking about, and I like that. I mean, I want to learn. I want to watch mostly channels of guys who are better than me, so I'm constantly learning. And I think Grumpus knows a ton about barbecue. But also, I really like his personality. When you first watch his channel, you might think, oh, this guy isn't loud or outlandish or as funny as some of the other channels. But I actually prefer that, to be honest with you. You can tell some guys are trying to force it a little bit. And when you start picking up on guys forcing it, being somebody they're not, that turns me off right away. But Grumpus, he's got a sort of hidden, dry sense of humor. He really is withdrawn and held back in his demeanor, and I really like him. Give him a chance. Give him 2 or 3 videos. Watch what he's doing, and I think you might come to like him too. But Grumpus on Fire is a great, small, up-and-coming channel, and I hope his channel does well, because it's an enjoyable one to watch. So thanks to T-Roy and thanks to Grumpus for the shout-outs, and best of luck as you guys' channels continue to grow. All right, y'all. Time to pull these beautifully browned up chicken wings. Been basting them with that bourbon bacon barbecue sauce. Everything else is barking up and browning up real nice. We're about 4 hours in. My temps have been running low all day, so the turkey's only about 125 degrees internal, and the pork butts aren't even up to 100 yet. So we're definitely going low and slow today. All right, y'all, we're gonna make it quick because it's already 7:30 at night. We put all this on at 10:30 this morning. It's been 9 hours. My phone battery's low. We got bad lighting in the garage. But let me show you what we got. Unbelievably, took 9 hours to get this turkey finished. Unfortunately, even after being in the fridge for 3 days, it was still mostly frozen on the inside when I popped it on the smoker this morning. Plus, with cold temps outside, my smoker temps were a little lower than usual. Plus, I couldn't use my top shelf hot zone like I prefer because this wouldn't fit. And so I had to use my bottom shelf, which is 50 degrees cooler than the top shelf. So all in all, it took 9 hours. I'm a little annoyed. At about the 7.5 hour mark, this baby was still only 135, and I was getting ticked off. So I loaded up my firebox, wrapped this guy in foil, and left him on there for the last hour and a half, thinking this would be in the 160 to 170 range, but actually there's places that hit the 180 mark. So hopefully it's not too dried out. It sure looks juicy, and it was putting off juice quite a bit in the holes I was poking, and there's still quite a bit of juice down in the cavity there. So hopefully it'll be tasty. Let me give you an update on those wings. So we had the wings for dinner. We won't be having this turkey today. I'm not going to be tasting that, but you'll have to trust me on the wings. You don't need me to eat them in front of you, all right? The wings were delicious, though. I was having a hard time remembering which rubs I put on which things earlier, but I think if I remember right, Those wings had some of that maple sugar rub from Annie Moo Moo, and then the steak dust rub on them. And they were not overly sweet at all. They were perfectly balanced between sweet and peppery and garlicky. I glazed them for the last hour and a half or so with that bourbon bacon barbecue sauce, which I didn't realize is actually a medium spice. I was thinking it was pure mild and sweet, but it was really good. It had a medium kick to it. On its label, I didn't notice it, but in tiny little print down at the bottom, it said it was the spicy version, and it was ranked 3 peppers out of 5 for spiciness. So it wasn't hot, but it had a nice little kick to it, and it was delicious. TexasFood.com gave me all of those products that I've been testing today. I'll be testing more of their products in future videos, but go check them out. Of the 9 products they sent me, that's just a tiny sampling. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of different sauces and rubs and Texas snack foods. Go check out their website, texasfood.com. They got tons of different stuff on there, jellies, pepper jellies, all kinds of great barbecue stuff, and even stuff that's not necessarily related to barbecue at all. But appreciate them sending that out. The last thing on is those pork butts. They were about 160 when I checked them an hour and a half ago, so maybe another hour and a half or so, those will be done. I'll give you a quick update when those finish. Again, we won't be eating those tonight, but I'll at least show them to you. And at the end of this video, there will be a whole bunch of pictures from the chicken wings and the delicious mac and cheese, which, by the way, we took those spicy crackers. I think they were called Dino Bites, Texas Dino Bites or something like that. And we crushed those up and put them over half of our mac and cheese and then baked it for another 5 minutes with those crackers on top. And those little spicy, they're almost like spicy goldfish in the shape of little oyster crackers. And they were so good on that mac and cheese. You got to try that. Check out those pictures at the end of this video. All right. See you in a few minutes for the pork butt. Then I'll give you a quick update on where I've been all these months. And then we'll be done. All right, y'all. I changed my mind. I'm going to try a nibble of this turkey. But first, let me show you these pork butts. These finished at the same time as the turkey. Totally shocked me. After I shot the last clip, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to wait to take a temp. I'll go take a temp now on these pork butts. They were both reading 204. And as you can see, I wrapped them for the last hour and a half just to try and speed them up a little bit. But that's looking beautiful. They didn't get as nice of an initial bark as I would like because, again, they were in the cool zone all day long on that cooker, not getting as direct a heat or smoke. But actually, just in the hour or hour and a half I had them on the top shelf before I wrapped them, the bark at least doubled, if not tripled. It is much firmer and thicker than it was when I put them up there. Very happy with that. Let's see here. I want you to see if I can do this bone test. See how we came out on the bone. Oh, look at that. Little guy right there. Go ahead and try him. That is some tasty goodness. And right away, I get that hint of pepperiness from that 1836 rub that I finished this with. Remember, I started with that sweet maple rub, and then I finished with the real coarse peppercorn 1836 rub that they sent me. But this is delicious. Excuse me. Wow. Juicy as all get out. Let's try a little piece of that bark by itself. Wow. That is some rich, fatty, peppery goodness. I highly recommend that 1836. And by the way, even though that maple, that Annie Moo Moo's maple sugar rub has maple sugar and brown sugar as the top 2 ingredients. However, It is not overly sweet, and it doesn't burn, even with that high sugar content. It's amazing. And combined with that pepper rub, I really like it on this pork. Really good stuff. Really yummy. All right. Let me break off a piece of turkey, and I'll be right back. Pulled off a little piece of drumstick here. The easiest thing I could get to. And I'm telling you, that is some seriously smoky turkey being on there for 7.5 hours unwrapped before I wrapped it for the last hour and a half. It's the longest it's ever taken me to do a turkey, but I already told you why. All the factors were against me today. Here's some breast meat, if I can get it to focus there. It actually doesn't look like it dried it out too much. We'll give it a taste here. It's still pretty good. It has that nice smoked turkey flavor to it. It is a little bit dry. It's not terrible. It's not ruined. But it's definitely less juicy than I would have liked, especially since I didn't brine it. I didn't inject it. I was being lazy today. I put it in there half frozen, and then I had to leave it on for 9 hours. And got the temps up just about 15 degrees hotter than I wish I would have internal. So it's a little dry, but probably what I'll do is throw it in a food saver bag with some chicken broth and reheat it inside that food saver bag in boiling water whenever we have that turkey. That'll be yummy. Anyhow, good cook. Had a lot of fun today, getting back in the saddle after all these weeks and weeks away. And that's the end of the cook. I'll throw some photos up at the end of the video. If you want to see those, stay tuned. And next up, I'll tell you where I've been the last few weeks. So as many of you know, I go to seminary full-time in grad school right now. And it's just been a super crazy busy semester. Every semester gets a little bit harder. Last year was my first year full-time here in seminary in Minneapolis. So this is my second full-time year. I'm taking Greek and Hebrew right now, 2 different languages, biblical languages, learning at the same time. That's pretty tough. And a couple other classes as well. And it's just smoking and YouTube can't be my priority right now. So I haven't been able to smoke in several weeks, and the videos have been sparse. And that's pretty much how it's going to be during the school year. I might get out one a month, maybe 2 a month. But during the school year, that's just how it has to be. I mean, I have to not only be a good student, but I have to be a good husband and father, be a good employee. I have a couple of part-time jobs that I work. My wife works a part-time job. We're trying to make ends meet while I go to school, and be a good church member as well. I mean, the whole point of me being in seminary is to prepare for church ministry, so it wouldn't make much sense for us to be bad church members the whole time we're in seminary. We want to be involved at our church. So just a lot going on, and smoking and videoing has fallen down the list, and that's life. That's how it is sometimes. So that's my priority order, and that's why right now I'm not producing near as much as I did this summer. But I hope to be able to pump out a lot more content next summer, hopefully. But over the course of the winter, again, probably 1 to 2 videos a month is all I'll be doing. I'll try to make them good ones, try to make them interesting. And I know I still owe you guys a video on why I named my channel Texas 2.5. I'll still make that sometime this winter. But anyways, I appreciate all of you who have watched, who have liked, who have given feedback, who have subscribed. Really appreciate it. All the other channels who have given me shout outs and comments. I appreciate all y'all. And hopefully we'll be back for another video again soon. Take care.